Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ron Gunner channel. I want to do another update answering some questions that I've received via email and some call-ins when I did some radio shows and people who stopped by the booth at seminars. They are asking more about my Glock steel plate gun. Well, this is it. I have made some changes since the last time I showed it to you. It is a Glock 17 with a Seymour RTS2 red dot with a Springer Precision rear sight mount through the dovetail that has never moved, never failed. I have since added a Glock Store blue mag base and a 3-ounce brass weight. I am using the Springer Precision mag bases on all 5 mags. The big change is the David Carver from Carver Customs 4-port comp. So it's got 4 ports on top, 3 bleeders off the side, and a Lone Wolf match barrel threaded. Now, to show you that it is safe, there's nothing in it, inspecting it, feeling it, looking through it. Still working with it to get it completely taken care of, but I'm telling you right now that it is unbelievably accurate. I have only about 100 rounds through this barrel, so obviously it's still breaking in. Let's see, I decided to keep the front fiber optic on there instead of the exposed hole. I really can't see it through the red dot. I had to pay no attention to it. I'm looking through the Seymour, put the red dot on the target, and there it goes. The best thing about all this is the Johnny Glock's trigger. Now I'm telling you, look at this. That's it. There's no take-up. It's on the wall. It breaks at just under 3 pounds. Or right at 3 pounds. And reset is nice and positive. It's right there. So since this trigger, since I put this trigger in, it was a one I had gotten from Johnny. Johnny is now a full-on sponsor. He built it to what I wanted. I dropped it in. Since then, he has perfected it even more. He's getting a sub 2-pound trigger with factory OEM Glock parts. In order to do that, Johnny needs the gun. So the choice I had to make was to pick a time to send this down to Sarasota, Florida for him to do it. I have a match coming up, a GSSF match coming up at the end of July. So I was kind of deciding, well, what do I do? As fate would have it, Johnny's from the Pittsburgh area. He's visiting his dad right now in the Pittsburgh area, so he's literally only less than an hour away. I have gotten a hold of him, and believe it or not, I am going to be honored to have Johnny come here to my house, and we're going to go into my reloading room / shop. He's actually has his jigs and everything that he needs with him and parts. So he's going to redo the trigger in this to get it to sub 2-pound pull, fine tune everything, and I'll be able to test it as he's going to tell him if I like, don't like, and he's going to even do the stippling work on here, because right now I'm using grip tape, which works fine, but I'd like to get rid of it because I'm tired of changing it and go with stippling. So Johnny's going to be here at my home, and we're going to do a couple videos. I'll do a video obviously to have on my channel, and then he's going to be doing a video to have on his channel. And then we're also going to discuss the new t-shirt design. As you can see behind me, I have my other shirts. The newest shirt is going, like this one is Big Rainier. It's going to be Big Rainier and gigantic Johnny Glock's logo, Johnny Custom Glock's logo. And Johnny's basically building me, I'm still going to have this gun, which I shoot in the unlimited. He's basically building me a whole new brand new Glock from the ground up at his shop, and then he'll send it to me when it's done. So I'll be using both guns in the competition. This one, the undercut here underneath the trigger guard, and here I did myself so I can get a higher purchase there, and when it lays across the finger here. I did not do any stippling work. I still like the finger grooves, so I want to keep those there. He's basically just going to do a stipple job for me while he's here, so I can eliminate the tape and redo the trigger to the new sub 2-pound pull trigger, and then this one basically is done. Now the Carver comp, I use 124 grain Rainier ballistics bullets, as Rainier has been a sponsor now, I believe, going on 7 years. I use 700X Hodgdon powder. Chris Hodgdon and Hodgdon have been sponsoring me, I believe it since 2002, or 2004, I'm sorry. So we're looking at 13 years there. So the 700X powder, the Rainier 124s, which David Carver suggests 124 is the lightest to go with this four-port comp. I had to go to an 11-pound recoil spring instead of the factory 17-pound. I ordered one off eBay with a stainless steel guide rod, 11-pound spring. Put it in the gun thinking, hey, here we go. So again, there's nothing in it. I went to the range, brought it up, snap. Basically it was a single shot gun. So I was able, being stainless steel, was able to take the end off. I cut 2 coils off the spring, put it back on. It would run 3 or 4 and then not run anymore. So I ended up taking 5 coils completely off the 11-pound spring in order to get this gun to function properly. So now it runs perfect, and between the 4 ports and my grip, it only is raising that, maybe that much, which is still a little bit too much than I would like. I want to keep it to where it's just no more than shooting like a 22. But with this gun, with the Rainier Ballistic 124 flat points, with the Johnny Glock's trigger, with the Hodgdon 700X powder and Winchester primers, and the Seymour RTS 2, I have set club records. I've won first place a few times, won a few medals. So I would like to thank all those sponsors. Magazine is empty. I put it in there. And then we talk about my belt. This is actually a Blade Tech belt, and this is a CR holster. And when I had just a 17, just a regular, without non-compensated, I had to have this piece here, which is adjustable, clear up to the highest it would go, and it worked. So this was, it worked from there, and it worked for 17 now. So now it just clips in, and that's it. You got that on, that ain't coming off, that ain't going nowhere. You just flip that from red to blue and it comes right out. Now in the GSF matches, I always leave an S out, you don't draw from a holster. Basically everything's on a table in front of you or in your hand already. But I use the holster to carry the gun around. And what's nice about it, with it being compensated, I can actually rack it so it's open, so they can see that it's open, and still is retained in the holster. I actually painted blue, obviously to me is go, and red for the lock on there. This is the CR competition holster. These sell anywhere from $100 to $150, depending where you find them. This one I found on sale for $99. I can't remember where. It was around December. So someone asked for a Christmas gift what I would want, and I showed them the link to that, and that's what they sent me. And I appreciate that. It's what I wanted. The belt I bought, I think I paid $54 for the belt. Again, it's Blade Tech. The cover that wraps around this is over on the table. And then the holster, what I did do was I added a spacer in here to get it out a little bit farther. And then even with the guide, it comes with a couple guides to put in to kind of lock it into for the width of the holster. There's a guide. One slides down the bottom here and one up a little bit higher. Even with that, the holster still kind of moved. So what I did was peeled back the back layer of this, and through the Alien Gear holsters, when you buy, for concealed carry, Alien Gear sends you a packet of screws and the nuts and everything extra in case you ever have to change one. Well, I took one which has the 4-prong teeth on it. I drilled a hole through the belt, through the holster, put that 4-prong nut on there, and then ran a shouldered screw. Let me take the gun out of here for you. So easy to mount. Ran a shouldered flat countersunk screw in there with a washer into that in the back. It's covered by the inner belt, and that holster does not, you don't have to worry about sliding whatsoever. I mean, it's right there. It's perfect, just what I wanted. So it's locked in place with the gun on, with the gun off. When you pull the gun off, it's so easy anyhow, it doesn't really make a difference. Like I said, I added a spacer in between here to get it out a little bit farther. So all in all, this is working fine. The setup's working fine. I can't wait for Johnny Glock, Johnny Custom Glocks, to get here to work on this baby hands-on. And this, even he said it would be that would be perfect, because I'd be right here with him. He could make his adjustments, hand it to me. I could sit there, mag is empty. I can sit there while he's sitting right next to me and say, nope, yep, tighter, whatever, stronger. Basically have him here to do it. You can't beat that. And it just so happened to be that luck would have it that he happened to be up here visiting his dad at the time all this was going on. So that's one thing I got going on there. Now, put this back in. I did like I had the initial polymer magwell on here, which added no weight whatsoever. I like the 3-ounce and the aluminum magwell from Glock store. This compensator really does not weigh that much at all. It's machined aluminum. There is no set screw. Okay, now the bottom of the Lone Wolf barrel has a flat spot on it for a set screw. Now I suppose I probably could drill a hole and tap it and use a set screw in there in the future, but for this first time mounting it, I actually used the 271 or 272 red Loctite on it, and it's locked in place. I'm going to have to use heat to take it off if I ever take it off, but I could drill it, tap it, put a set screw in there since the barrel has a flat spot. So I ended up with about the length barrel out of a 17L almost, and then the compensator, and it really does make a difference. I will tell you, when you get to a 4-point comp, you have to work with your loads. You know, I went with adding, I even upped my powder from 3.8 to 4.0 and still had to trim 5 total coils off the spring, the 11-pound recoil spring. So it's very easy. Let me take the mag out. This is extremely easy to rack now. I mean, you can, plus I got grip tape back here in the back. So, but again, this baby is, I mean, I love the trigger now. I can't imagine what it's going to be when Johnny's done with it. So, if you're interested in building a limited, unlimited, depending what you're shooting in, optics gun, be sure to give Johnny Glocks a call. His triggers have outlasted and outperformed Pyramid triggers, Zev, and I know that because we were at the range. No, that wasn't pointing at my head, it was still 10 inches away. We had a guy had a Pyramid trigger, hardly had any shots through it. It was adjusted, he started shooting it, and then he was getting 3 or 4 shot fully automatic burst out of it, and they're like, oh, well, the trigger needs adjusting again. Really? After 100 rounds or 200 rounds, you got to reset, go in and take the gun apart and reset the trigger. And then there's an article that was just out about a week ago I saw on Facebook where they compared some of these triggers for Glocks for their safeties. And I'm pretty sure Pyramid was one of the ones that wasn't 100% on all 3 of the safeties. And that's one thing I can say about Johnny. When Johnny builds you your trigger, I'm telling you, I mean, he's even posted videos of him, you know, with the gun loaded, dropping it on a hard surface and letting it hit, and still be able to pull the trigger. All 3 of his safeties are fully engaged. And he has triggers that have 30, 40,000 rounds on them, and they're still going strong without any adjustment whatsoever. And I attest that to the Glock OEM parts he's using, because the gun was designed for those, so that's what he's using. But how he, whatever modifications he does, I'm going to just come out and say it, the man is a freaking genius when it comes to Glock triggers. So, get yourself whatever optic you want to get. Check out David Carver, Carver Customs, for your compensator. He's got the Alpha Wolf barrel, which is the black one. It's fluted with different compensator combinations. You can buy just a comp, you can buy just a barrel, or you can buy the kit. Matter of fact, I think they even sell entire guns that they do. But it made a world of difference. I was amazed at how much better this shoots. So get whatever optic you want, get a compensator, get a match barrel, get a Johnny Glock's custom trigger, mag wheel of your choice. I went with Glock Store because the blue base pads, I kind of wanted everything to match. What I did, I got 5 mags. Actually, I got more than 5, but these are the 5 I use regularly. And as you see, most people do this. And OCD, so I'll put these in order. But on the back of the mag, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in case I would ever have an issue, the mag screwing up and not feeding right, or an issue like that, I can pull it out and say, oh, that was mag 5, so I know that it's bad, either replace it, or if I don't have one, replace it. Make sure it happens to be the last one I use, or if there's a stage where I don't need all 5 mags, I eliminate the one that's bad. So, and there's enough room at the top, I marked them with a gold Sharpie. So I would like to thank Scott Springer Precision, for the mag bases. These don't add any rounds, they just add enough weight to where it's perfect. Scott has been a great guy. I am not sponsored by Springer Precision at all. I just happened to talk to Scott a few times on Facebook, and was able to get these to try, and I absolutely love them. And Scott has just upgraded his shop, bought more equipment, added a couple more fellows, I believe, to meet the demand that he's now having. So his products are starting to really get known. So check out Springer Precision. Check out Johnny Glock's custom triggers. Check out the Glock store if you want one of their colored mag wells. I like Seymour red dots. They're middle of the road price. They're the $400, $425 mark. And let me tell you a quick story about this. I got this one. I'm trying to work with Seymour right now, so this actually was not free. One day, in the middle of a match, it quit working on me. So I turned it on. At first I thought maybe I was hitting the button with my thumb. So I hit it and come right back on. And bring it up, fire a couple shots, it'd go off again. So I called him and I told him, I said, hey look, this is more than a year old. But I told him what was going on, and the lady asked me, she said, do you have it mounted directly on the slide where it slides with the gun, or do you have it mounted on the rail over top of the slide? I said, this is a direct mount to the slide. She said, send it in, we'll look at it. I told her, I said, yeah, but it's out of warranty. She said, go ahead, send it in anyhow. I sent it in. I think it was 7 days total, from the day I sent it to the day I got it back, and they actually put a hardened circuitry system in it. So if you buy one directly from Seymour, let them know that if you're going to mount it, slide mount it where it's mounted on the slide, so they can give you the beefier version. I don't know if that's an option that they're going to offer, or I don't know, if it was me and it was my company, I would just go ahead and make the beefier version, and that's all I would offer. But apparently there's a harder board in there they could put in, and maybe more solder or better, I don't want to say better solder, but better connections, whatever. So it took exactly 7 days from the day I shipped it to the day I got it back, and it's run perfect ever since. And it ran perfect up until that day, and there was no, I was using it and it just started, it quit. Turn it on, it'd run 1 or 2 and quit. So at first I thought it was the battery. I changed the battery, same thing. I called them, she said send it back. They didn't charge me a dime for it. So I got to give a thumbs up to Seymour for that. Like I said, it's middle of the road. You can buy the $600-700 Trigicons, or you can go down to the $200 Vortex Vipers, which I have no experience with. I don't know how well they last, how well. I know they're fairly new. Seymour has been dominating the red dots in the shooting sports for years, and that's why I went with Seymour. Plus, here's one thing I like best. On almost all other ones, except for maybe a couple of brand new ones that are just out now, in order to change the battery, you have to take sight off the gun. Change the battery, put it back on, and re-sight it. With this, it's a sliding compartment right here. Take your thumb or a little screwdriver, and it pulls right out. Put the battery, put it in. You don't have to remove the sight. You don't have to re-sight it. You can check it, but every time I've done it, it's always been right back where it was. I've never had an issue with it. Got a nice cover. I actually put a little bit of clear, thick tape up front, which in turn makes it now so it stays on. I mean, you literally have to pull it off because the cover just alone has a section in the back that's got two little cuts in it, relief cuts, and it's supposed to add a little pressure. Well, over time it gets weak and you were able just to flick it and knock it off. I put that tape inside there on this end, and now you literally have to pull it on and off. So it stays in place while it's in the holster and I'm walking. So get yourself a red dot, get yourself a, if you've never tried a compensator, get one. You will have to work with it a little bit with the spring combination and reloads. Once you get it working, you'll be amazed. If you have a Glock, check out the Glock store or whoever you want to for a weighted mag base or mag well and the back channel weight. Definitely check out Johnny Glocks. Check out Rainier Ballistics. I have the best scores I've ever received in my life have come from the combination of Rainier 124 flat points, Hodgdon 700X powder, loaded on Dillon machines with Winchester primers, and through a Glock. And unbelievable. And I wanted to mention one last thing here. You notice there's an AR sitting here. It's been sitting here for a while. I'm also sponsored by ATI Gunstock. This is their free-floating, full-length 16-inch rail with their, I don't even know what they call this. This thing's like super sharp. But if you was to put it up against a wall during competition for support, it would definitely stick. I mean, you could almost prick your finger with it. It has all these pre-drilled holes. You can put pick rails on them anywhere basically you want. The only thing that's mag cool is this grip, and that's only because ATI doesn't make one. So it's ATI front end, ATI grip with like a real soft back section, ATI adjustable stock on the back, which their strike, I think it's their strike force. But what I wanted to talk about was their systems are so much better than what they used to be. Let me get this out of the way. I had bought ATI years ago for a Winchester 1300 and adjustable stock, and at the time it was basically the only one that was out there to buy. And what I didn't like about it is through the castle nut, even on the Winchester 1300, you basically had two drywall screws that went through, and that's the only thing held the back of the stock on. I didn't care for that. So they've now upped their game. It's all metal, even on the shotguns, with a metal castle nut, all aluminum. ATI has done a great job. They've really raised the bar in their manufacturing, their kits, their ideas. Perfect. And then a new sponsor is HexMag. So HexMag, you'll hear my German Shepherd over there. That's who's breathing really heavy. HexMag has been a great magazine. I haven't had any issues, and they just sent me their new rubber. It's pliable. This is in the flat dark earth, match that, and it also has the HexMag cutout where you can add the grip tape to the hand grip. You can add grip tape to the magazines. They also make a handle that is a hard plastic handle, but it's adjustable, 3-position adjustable. So to each his own. Of course, EOTech's a sponsor. It's been one for quite some time. Now, let me tell you a little bit something about sponsorships. I do not have not, and will not ever say, for example, this, which happens to be the remote for that camera. Say this is whatever. Say someone send me this in the mail and ask me to try, do it, and do a review. And it sucked. I would never come on camera and say, hey, this XYZ product is great just because it was given to me. I don't do that. I've never done that. I wouldn't do that to you. I remember when I was in the position or I had to scrimp and save and budget and cut things out of here and here so I could buy equipment for what I wanted to do. And the worst thing could happen is someone tell me, hey, this is what I need to buy, because they got it for free or at a very, very cheap price. Excuse me. And I buy it and find out that it's junk. First off, that would upset me because I now wasted my money and I'd have to rebuy something else, which that set you behind. And the person who did that review, their credibility with me would be gone. I would never listen to them again, no matter what reviews they do. So let me tell you real quick, anything I do a review on, I use and continue to use, even if by some chance they are no longer a sponsor. I still use them. One time I was given when I was doing the semi-pro fishing, believe it or not, a company sent me a handheld fish finder that had a float on it, and you would throw it out, and I think it had 50 or 75 feet of cable. You could throw it out, and it was wired, and it had about the size of a big cell phone, like an iPhone 7 Plus. And it said that it showed the fish, 3 different size fish. It would show you if it was a flat bottom, sandy bottom, rocky bottom. It claimed to show all kind of stuff. Well, what it was is the screen had like 3 or 4 presets on it. If it happened to detect even one rock, it always showed a big pile of rocks. It was always the same pile of rocks. If it detected 1 or 2 fish, it would show you the biggest one of the 2. And it always came up as 4 or 5 because it was preset in the unit. When it was a flat bottom, it was just a flat line. It didn't tell you if it was mud, sand, anything. It just showed a flat line. And I used it, and I thought, maybe this isn't working properly because it wasn't doing what they told me it would do. So I called them up and I said, hey, maybe you guys sent me a bad one, because that happens. Anything that's built, occasionally you get a bad one. And the guy said, oh no, that's how it is. He said, we'd appreciate a good review on it. And I told him, I said, I packaged it up, sent it back to them. Then they sent me another one, and I turned around and sent it right back to them. And I told them, I said, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, this is a great product. If you fish from a bank or a kayak or canoe, this is a great way to have some type of fish finder, because it wasn't. It was junk, and I refused to do the review. I told them if they really, really want me to push and do the review, they're not going to like it because it's not favorable. So I sent everything back, and that was the end of that. So if you see something on my channel, and I also now write for alloutdoor.com, Ron Gunner articles, if you even see an article or come to one of my seminars or listen to one of the radio shows and you hear me talking about Hex Mag or ATI or Johnny Glock's triggers or David Carver or Rainier Ballistics, it's because first I used the product prior to ever becoming a sponsor or be sponsored by them. Rainier, I bought, I'm going to say 1,500 bullets. I think it was, there were 9 millimeters in 115, 124, and 147 grain. And I tried them and found out which one I liked best, which one shot best, because I chronograph everything as I'm developing a load. And used them all, and I actually bought a couple more boxes and used them. So it took 6 months to a year of using Rainier, and then I contacted them. And I was honored, and have been honored now for going on, I think, 7 years, to be fully sponsored by Rainier. And in that time, I've had other bullets sent to me. Other bullet companies say, hey, you know, why don't you try ours? Well, first thing is, I have no need to try yours. I'm winning with Rainier, so why would I want to change? I used to use Alliant powders. I went one day to get some, and they were out of the one I needed, and I bought some Hodgdon powder. And of course, you know, if you, depending on the grain, 7,000 grains in a pound, and I forget what I was using it for, but you can get anywhere from 1,500 to 25 to over 2,000 loads out of a pound of powder, depending on your particular recipe. And I started noticing improvements with the performance, so I went and bought some more Hodgdon powder. It started mixing with the 40 and the 45 ACP, same results. Everything started getting better. So I ended up contacting Hodgdon and got a hold of Chris Hodgdon himself, and been dealing with him ever since 2004. So if you see me talking about something, it's because I'm using it. I am not sponsored by Seymour Red Dots, but I'm using the product. I had the one issue, they repaired it for free, so far that's a good thing. I'm working, I have a couple of letters out to a few people at Seymour to see about a sponsorship, but I've been using that for now a year, or over a year actually. I am not sponsored by Blade Tech or CR Holster. Not yet anyhow. I'm in the process of using them. If I like them, what they work, and then we'll go from there. Same thing with EOTech. I used one set of EOTech for a year, then they became a sponsor. Same thing with ATI. So basically, if you see me on the website or in an article say, hey, this is why I use this, or a gear review, or whatever you want to call it, I'm actually using that product, and more importantly, I used it prior to becoming sponsored, because I don't want you to waste your money. I know a lot of channels, the guy will say, hey, I got this, you know, Hex Mag sent me this to try out. They did send it to me for free, or they sent it to me at a discounted price, or I bought this myself, and this is a review. You know, I look at it this way. Some guys aren't even really looking for sponsors. A lot are, a lot aren't. As long as you give a good, honest review, it doesn't matter if they send it to you for free, they send it to you at a big discount, or you paid for it. Just give the honest review. That's all anybody is looking for that reads the articles, that looks up YouTube for something in particular. Just because someone's sponsored by it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad product. They're just telling you it's good because they may get it for free. Because I can tell you everything I'm sponsored by, if it didn't work, first off, you wouldn't see me sponsored by them. And second, I would never tell you to buy it. I'm never going to promote junk, ever. So with that said, this is getting long enough. I use the XYZ remote, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, I got more stuff coming. My wife's family had a couple of illnesses, dealing with a bunch of stuff. That's why I've been away for a while. Plus matches. Just haven't had time. So now everything's working out. The next video should be somehow including Johnny Glock's. What we're going to do is meet him halfway because he only has one car. His wife will still need it in the Pittsburgh area. So she's going to drive him halfway. We're going to pick him up, bring him here. We'll do the work, do the video, have lunch, do his video, and then at the end of the day we're going to take him halfway back. So with all that said, we got more stuff coming on. I got another shotgun build. I have a Mosin build coming with ATI stock. Going to do a full review of the Dillon SL650 press, and working on a few other things. So talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by.